The 2023 season is over, and now you're left to wallow in memories of opportunities missed and meaningful moments mangled. If you had just done what I told you, you would be on this list too, but you didn't. So handcuff yourself to a fire hydrant and cover yourself in peanut butter, because this is the DBNI Countdown Show.
You're watching the DBNI Countdown Show, the show where we reveal the top 28 players from this season's Diplomacy Broadcast Network Invitational standings. I'm your host, Bryan. I'm joined by my fellow co-host, Zachary Moore.
Bryan, the smoke has cleared. It's time to pick through the DBNI rubble.
Zach, the season officially came to a close after last weekend's Virtual Diplomacy League Championship game, and our standings were shaken up more than the wet bandits facing a kindergartner. We didn't know how our standings would end until the very last turn of the very last game.
And as you know, Bryan, the DBN Invitational is a year-long points competition between players around the globe from the face-to-face, virtual face-to-face, and extended deadline communities, culminating in an invitational tournament in February to determine the DBN Diplomat of the Year. And on screen, we see the winners of DBNI qualifying face-to-face tournaments so far this season. The most recent additions being Jason Mastbaum's win of Carnage and Yelta Kuiper's win of the 2023 European Diplomacy Championship.
The virtual face-to-face tournaments category was pretty lean this year, with just the VWDC Summer Classic won by Saren Kwok and VDC 2023 won by Jamal Blackerly. With his win at the VDC and WDC, Blackerly became the first player in diplomacy history to win simultaneous world champions.
And in the extended deadline category, also known as Press Diplomacy by Jordan Connors and his anonymous horde, Bradley Grace won Olympus Season 1 and Doug Malote won the Nexus Full Press League.
In the leagues category, new European Super League consisting of a merger between the Dutch, French, and German virtual leagues was added, along with the Virtual Diplomacy League regular season and championship game winners.
Bryan, I speak for diplomacy and football fans around the world when I say that I fully embrace the European Super League as a positive and necessary step for the game we all love.
That doesn't sound controversial at all. Zach, in total, there were 18 qualifying events in the 2023-24 season, and all but 2 of their winners qualified for the season's DBN Invitational. That leaves just 12 remaining spots. Let's take a look at this season's top 28 right now.
No time to waste. Let's get to it. And starting with the top 7, Bryan, McCullis Kamarites kept it 100 all year long, winning the biggest face-to-face tournament in North American DipCon at DixieCon and the biggest virtual competition in a thrilling VDL top board worth a cool 100 points each. By comparison, Bryan, only 10 other players scored 100 points total.
Zach, I've got a question for you. Is Jamal Blackerly the Bo Jackson of the diplomacy hobby? He proved he knows diplomacy by becoming the first ever multi-format world champion and earning second place in the 2023 DBNI standings.
Something to think about, Bryan. And at number 3, Bradley Critical Grace Theory punched back at the state of Florida, snatching the Tour of Britain crown from Sunshine State resident Tim Crosby and denying him tenure as champion. Like many young people today, Bryan, Bradley identifies as an Alliance player, even though he is clearly a biological stabber.
Saren Kwok won the largest virtual tournament of the season and weaseled her way into second place at Weaselmoot, wheeling and dealing her way to a 4th place standing overall.
And Ed Sullivan is riding high after a season in which he won Regatta in Denver, won VDL Lawyer of the Year, and is not one but a 2-time Diplomacy Literati of the Year voter. The DBNI format doesn't play to his strengths, but there's enough raw diplomatic talent there to make the charming host of DBN's 4th most popular show a threat in this tournament.
Jackson Roberts is another multi-format phenom, earning his 6th place spot in our standings from both virtual and extended deadline events.
Well, Matt Shrill screamed his way up the standings with a Knife's Edge tournament win at Whipping, and his buzz reached a fever pitch after a strong follow-up performance in the Mile High City. DBNI will be a measuring stick for a player who looks to cement his place among Diplomacy's tippy-top tier.
And on to places 8 to 14. Hjalti Kuiper showed off his Eurovision, putting on a show with his winning performance at the EDC and earning 8th place in our standings overall.
Well, at number 9, it's a classic case of Rest versus Riazd after Mr. Virani claimed the automatic DBNI bid back in January and kicked his feet up afterward, clocking a strong Nexus finish but taking the year off otherwise. Can Riaz coax himself back into playing shape before the biggest games of them all?
Good question. And in 10th place, inaugural DBN Diplomat of the Year, Peter McNamara from the land down under, showed why he is one of the Diplomacy's greats with consistent, high-scoring performance all season.
Number 11, Doug Malote is the highest-ranking pure press player on our list, claiming gold at Nexus League Season 8, and then showing up for the obligatory minimum virtual games in VDL. Look, he's clearly got a strong game, but he'll have his work cut out for him trying to adjust to virtual play against the best of the best.
And Jason Bennett showed his breakout rookie performance in the 2022-23 season was not just a flash in the pan. His 2nd place at Tour of Britain and 3rd place at the Nexus Press League earned him 12th place in this year's standings overall, a full 12 places above his performance last season.
Well, Nicolas Taillé glided yet again to the Virtual Diplomacy League top board with no resistance, showing up for 4 games and topping 3 with double-digit centers before losing a tight one on the top board. Bryan, I'm not a stats guy, but I don't think anyone in the world tops a higher percentage of their boards than Taillé, making him a terrifying opponent in DBNI.
Except for maybe Riaz Virani, who's 1% higher on the screen right in front of us. Rookie Andrew Koch. Rookie Andrew Koch traversed the Nexus, winning the Season 8 tournament, winning the largest extended deadline tournament of the season, earned him 14th place in our standings overall.
Moving on now, Bryan, to places 15 through 21, and we start with Jason Mastbaum, who was having a quiet year by his standards heading into the fall, but you can only hold him down for so long before he gets his, and this year it was carnage that he claimed on a Halloween weekend, tricking and treating himself to all the dots and giving Siobhan Nolan nightmares for months.
Can't stop the heart of a DBNI Diplomat of the Year. Coming in as our 16th seed 2023 DBN Diplomat of the Year and vocal proponent of the 11-11-11 in-game result, Brandon Fogel is in position to defend his title on the strength of his 2nd place finish at the WDC.
They're calling it the Fogel these days. It's all the rage, Bryan. Number 17, we have Simon Weindrup, who showed up at the last possible minute, taking home the first ever 7 Years War Championship and securing his first ever DBNI berth in the process. A rookie virtual diplomacy specialist, Simon is out to show that this tournament was more than just a lightning in the bottle.
And a member of the 2023 Super 7, Ruben Sanchez, put on a masterful performance in last season's DBN Invitational Championship game. His 2nd place finish at the EDC will give him a chance to try again.
Number 19, Tim Crosby didn't keep his TOB throne this year, but he did piece together another steady string of solid results, finishing 3rd in line to the throne and appearing on the top board of the Virtual Diplomacy Championship. He's a veteran of this tournament and as primed as anyone to take the next step this February.
And in 20th place, we have Diplomacy's Doctor of Dots, Craig Mayer. Craig earned his place in the top 28 primarily on the strength of his finish at the Whipping face-to-face tournament.
Well, Johnny Guillotine is looking to slice through diplomacy's elite in the most public way possible this February after a year of posting humble, hard-working scores and maintaining a 0% elimination rate. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, Bryan, so presumably Johnny has improved with each and every game.
That's logic. Zach, this is it. Your final players to make the cut. Let's get to positions 22 to 28. First up, Cedric Williams placed second in this year's Nexus Press League and earned himself an invitation to Diplomacy's Big Dance.
Number 23, Chris Brand placed the Order of the Year at WDC in Bangkok. The convoy heard around the world is what people are calling it, and it swung the championship belt to Jamal Blakarli and left runner-up Brandon Vogel despondent. Both will be in this tournament, Bryan. Do we dare dream that the three of them end up on a board together again?
Nicolas Sahu-Gay showed why he is a multi-format world champion with scores from both face-to-face and virtual face-to-face events, landing him in 24th place.
Matthew Tick Toktenshi took what felt like an eternity to choose his country at VDL Paris Method, but found his footing and came within a 50-50 guess of winning the title on his first ever live top board. Coming in at 25th, making his decision in Paris Method figures to be much easier this time around.
That's nice of everyone. In 26th, Karthik Konat's Texas Longhorns had their best performance in over a decade. My question is, if Karthik's success in this year's DBNI will be more similar to the football team or the basketball team. Either way, he's received an official invitation with his 26th place.
Well, Cameron Higby did all his damage with an impressive second place finish at Regatta in Denver on the back of a 15 center shared board top in round 2. He's a solid alliance player, but Cameron may need to get his hands dirty if he wants to advance in this tournament.
Christopher Ward earned our final spot in the DBN Top 28 for the 2023-24 season. We always say that every center counts, and once again, we'll see this play out. Christopher Ward did exactly what he needed to do, qualifying on the very last turn of the very last game of the season. The difference between 28th and the 29th placed player was just half a point. Zach, qualifying in the DBN Top 28 is a remarkable accomplishment. The names we just listed are this season's very best players from the face-to-face, virtual face-to-face, extended deadline, tournaments, and leagues from around the globe. I want to thank each of these players for investing the time and effort for all of us to enjoy and to create a community where we can play the game we love so much in a highly competitive yet supportive community.
That's all well and good, but this next batch of players, if you ask me, these next players are even better and arguably more deserving. Can't wait to find out who they could possibly be.
Let's take a look at it now.
Here is a look at the players on... Oh, look at that! Number 29, Zachary Moore. 30, Katie Gray. 31, Robert Schupa. 32, Keith Worstel. 33, Ian Rudnick. 34, Evan Baleris. And 35, Tim B. A veritable snake pit, Bryan. Tell us about 36 through 42.
Well, next up, we've got Isaac Jukes, Micah Blom, Cody Green, Ben Kelman, Merlin Koenig, Nicholas Spencer, and Andrew Goff. Our very own Zachary Moore, along with the other players on these slides, will need a player ranked higher than them to decline their invitation to have a chance to play in this season's DBN Invitational. Stay tuned. We'll be announcing which players accepted their invitations and will be competing in the 2024 DBNI quite soon after this show.
But first, Bryan, we got to finish up our year-long rookie watch because raising awareness about the game of diplomacy and growing the hobby are the primary goals of the Diplomacy Broadcast Network. And at the end of this season, the first season player with the highest score will win the Eddie Birsan Rookie of the Year award. Coming onto your screen now is your Eddie Birsan Rookie of the Year. The winner, Doug Malote of Nexus Press League fame. Second, 25 points behind him was Andrew Koch from the Nexus Season 8 Full Press Tournament. And in third, Simon Wessendrup of the 7 Years War League. These were all league or tournament champions, Bryan.
And congratulations to all of our rookies. This hobby cannot continue without new players joining, and we've seen many of our previous rookies go on to do great things.
It's absolutely true. Not all rookies end up like Bryan. A lot of them see at least a sliver of success at some point in their diplomacy career.
The final events of the 2023-24 season have concluded, but the games just keep on coming. First up, a quick reminder about the DBN Invitational. Our top 28 will be playing. The rest of us can watch right here on DBN. If you are interested in playing more diplomacy, we've got a ton of upcoming events. First up, February 3rd through 4th, North American DipCon at Cascadia in Vancouver, Canada. The 7 Years War League on Discord resumes play on February 10th. The Nexus Press League is played on Discord on February 11th. The Melbourne Open in Melbourne, Australia is March 2nd through 3rd. Tour of Britain League resumes play on Discord on March 9th. And the Whipping Open in San Francisco, California is March 22nd through 24th. And the Virtual Diplomacy League resumes play on Discord on March 30th. And we just got through the month of March with all of those games.
Keep your eye out as well for live coverage of the North American DipCon at Cascadia right here on DBN this weekend, February 3rd.
Well, Zach, the top 28 players have qualified, but we know from history that not all top 28 may be able to accept their invitation. Players who just missed the cut, Zachary Moore, should stay tuned because it's quite possible they may be able to fill a vacant spot. In fact, Zach, I'm kicking you off the broadcast right now. I am bringing in Kevin O'Kelly because we are going to record our next video. Our selection show is going to begin right now. Get out of here, Zach. In the BDC 2023, won by Jamal Blakarli. Is it Blakarli or Blackerly? All right, Brandon said Blakarli, so I'm gonna go with Blakarli, and
Great.
If I'm wrong, I'll blame Brandon. And the BDC 2023 won by Jamal Blackerly with his win. Blakarli.
Mm.
All right.
It is, and it is. David said it that way too.
Blackerly?
No, Blakarli.
Blakarli. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon was wrong. Blakarli. Haha. Blackerly. Blakarli. 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 Jesus. Okay. Here we go. Is Jamal Blakarli? Jesus. Blackerly.
No. Blakarli,
Okay.
you got it.
Man, now I'm second myself. Oof. Jesus.
Take it over. You got it.
One of those nights.
Hold on. Give me another.
Okay, we'll redo that whole
I forgot that
section.
this one wasn't genuine.
Okay.